Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice, The Lost Chapters. Chapter 1. Shades of Brown. Elizabeth excused herself from the heat and excitement of the now overly crowded ballroom and made her way hastily to the privy stool, prompted by a more urgent than usual call of nature she attributed to the ill-timed overindulgence of coffee and pastries at the dessert table earlier in the evening. The dramatic effect of this socially lethal combination was now making itself known with a vengeance that would not be requited, except by full and immediate release. She chided herself for ignoring the well-meaning advice of her elder sister Jane regarding the partaking of sugar and caffeine when in society, and professed to herself most dearly that in future she would never let it happen again. Lief was she to see there was no line, as was common at such gatherings, for she felt a violent and explosive crescendo building within her that would not be denied. Miss Bennet was all urgency as she entered the oppressive atmosphere of the diminutive room, lifting up her dress with the utmost care, mercifully thankful she was not wearing pantaloons as per her normal custom. She stifled a groan and sighed heavily as she lowered herself onto the airy seat, simultaneously releasing a mighty steaming torrent from her innermost being into the cavernous, cold depths below, hoping against all hope that nobody of her acquaintance was near enough to the privy door to hear the noisily embarrassing impact of her free-falling stool. Sitting quietly for a moment in grateful silence, composing herself for her inevitable return to the carefree gaiety and laughter of the dance, she noticed a queer-looking hole about as high as a man's waistcoat and 3 or 4 inches in circumference, cut into the adjacent wall of the small chamber in which she sat. Resolving to ask Mr. Bingley, whose house it was, regarding the possible purpose of such a puzzling architectural anomaly. Awkwardly fumbling in the dimly lit space, she wiped herself upon a remnant of cloth left hanging specifically for this purpose upon the privy wall. Unfortunately, her father, Mr. Bennet, known for his prodigious bowel movements, had preceded her in relieving himself, and she had the utmost difficulty finding a clean bit of linen on the now heavily soiled rag. As she now departed from the intoxicating darkness of the pungently scented place of her relief, and stepped into the blinding candlelight of the hall, she noticed to her chagrin a bit of fecal matter clinging to the hem of her best muslin gown. "Oh, how I abominate father's inconsiderate and ill-timed bowel movements," she thought to herself venomously. And such inexcusable usage of the privy cloth was not to be borne. "Unfathomable rudeness as cannot be counted on one's fingers or measured in one's heart," she sobbed feelingly to herself. Elizabeth endeavored to present a light-hearted sensibility to the assemblage before her, as she returned to the boisterous revelry and merry-making of the packed ballroom. But alas, alas! regarding the ill usage and inconveniences of her current situation. She was irreconcilable